What do you want? I mean it, what do you want? I begin with that question because, unfortunately, I see a pattern playing out. So many of us spend so much time focusing on what we don't want that many of us are unaware of what we do. We spend our time complaining, bitching, moaning, blaming, talking about what if and if only. If only I had this, if only this wasn't this way, if only things hadn't happened, if only he hadn't have left me, if only she hadn't cheated on me, if only my boss did this, if only I got the raise. I don't want to be sad, I don't want to be upset, I don't want to be mad, I don't want this job, I don't want this life, I don't want to live here, I don't want to be there. There's all this time focused on what we don't want. All this time focused on what's wrong and not what's right. And so my question about what do you want is, do you even know? Sometimes we'll say, what do you want? Oh, I don't want that. No, that's not what you want. That's what you don't want. Okay, I want the opposite of that. That's called a cop-out. My experience with people and working with thousands of people from all over the world is oftentimes the reason people are getting what they're getting and not getting what they want is because their focus is constantly on what they don't want. How many of you, raise your hands, and I know we can't raise the hands, so maybe you hit the like button on here or something to show, or you click below, that's me. Or you type below, I guess that's me. How many of you have ever done this? Date the same person but a different name. Date the same guy, different name, date the same girl, different name. Right? Yeah, sure, there's some characteristic difference about them. Maybe they have brown hair and the other one have black, or their birthday, one's birthday's in February, the other's in March. But behaviorally, the patterns, they play out the same way over and over again. Why is that? I'm willing to bet a big part of it is because you spent so much time focusing on what it was about that person you didn't like, what you didn't want in a future relationship, that your mind was always trained on exactly that. Right? You've all heard me, if you've been following me around for any amount of time, seen other videos I've posted, read blogs, you've heard me talk about the pink elephant and how our unconscious mind processes information. Do not think of a pink elephant means that we have to think about what not think about to not think about it. If you're spending all your time thinking about what you don't want, what you're always doing is thinking about exactly what you don't want, which in your mind means you have a picture constantly of what you don't want. Think about that. The saying goes, energy flows where attention goes. If I say, don't think of a blue dog, what happens? If I say, don't think of a purple dinosaur, what happens? P.S. By the way, how many of you started to sing, I love you, you love me? I just totally had this Barney image pop in my head. Don't ask. Does this make sense? That's why we end up dating the same person, different name. We repeat the same patterns over and over. We run into the same problems. We experience the same heartbreaks. We experience the same highs and lows. It's like we're on this road and we want to get off it, but we can't because we keep going around and around, driving through the same place, expecting for something to be different. I don't know if any of you have ever driven in Southern California before. It's notorious that you don't drive at 5 p.m. around the 101 and the 405, which is really the 101 and the 405. I don't know why we put O's where our zeros are, but that's a whole nother video. Because it's called rush hour. Everybody's on the road then. And yet so many of us are so shocked when there's traffic. What do you want? Do you even know? If you've gotten anything from this video, I hope it's this. Things will never change until you focus on what it is you want to change. Things will never be different until you decide what you want instead of what you don't want. We all have 24 hours in a day, and you have a choice. You can either spend that time bitching, moaning, complaining, finding fault in all that's wrong, pointing the finger at them, blaming her, faulting him, talking about lack, focusing on absence. Or you can start figuring out what it is you really want. And then start focusing on that. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to have this image in your mind of what you want and poof, it's going to appear. I'm not going to make this sound like it's that magic lamp scenario where all of a sudden it's just, you've got to think of it and there it is, and it can happen that way. there's going to be some work involved. And with most things that are worth anything, there's usually some work. But I promise you this, whatever it is you want, the work that's involved in getting that will never be as hard, will never be as draining, will never be as exhausting, will never be as consuming, will never be as defeating, will never be as unfulfilling as the work you're putting in right now to focus on what you don't want, to feel the feelings you don't want to feel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What's your opinion? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. All right? Great talking to you. I mean, I know we're not really, but I hope we felt like it. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and if that picture of Barney's still in your head, maybe it wasn't and I just reminded you of, think of a big yellow bird. Try that one on. All right, bye-bye. I mean, don't think of a big yellow bird. Bye-bye.